friends, Kim from Stamping Imperfection. I'm here today to make what I call a peekaboo card using the Maker Forte Good Vibes stamp set. And I'm loving this stamp set because it's got that sort of like sun image, which I think is a perfect background. It's really helpful to create like a sky background. And then it's got some solid stamp images, and you can see there's a bunch of them here, along with several sentiments. So I like that. Like, how long has it been since somebody's been selling solid stamped images and that you don't have to color in? So I want to make those like silhouette images. So I'm pulling out my circle dies here, and I picked one that was just slightly larger than that circle stamp, and I'm going to cut out two circles, one toward the bottom right and one toward the top left of this piece of white cardstock. And I have this cut at 3.5 by 8 inches. So I've actually cut two pieces of white at 3.5 by 8 inches. So I'm going to take this, and I'm sorry that this is out of the shot. I have to get the hang of this new space I'm filming in, and I think I'm just going to put my camera up a little higher so it captures more of my desk. So basically I'm just die cutting out the circles, and I'm going to hang the die so it's off the side. You can see that here. So I'm not cutting out the entire circle, I'm cutting out part of the circle. In fact, I'm cutting out most of it. So I'm going to use that piece that I just pulled out there, the centerpiece, and I put it down on the bottom right hand side of the card, just to get an idea of where I wanted my die to go, to kind of get them the same distance from the edge of the card. So now it looks a little like Swiss cheese, but I'm going to just place that on top of the other piece of white cardstock I have die cut the same size. And I'm flipping it over because my die cut cutting plates are not perfectly clean. Like, I got a smudge of something on it, so I just flipped it over. So now it's on this die cut circles on the upper right and lower left. So, you know, we work with what we have. So I pulled out spun sugar and scattered straw distress oxides, and I just like put them on, and I used one of the foam blending tools just to kind of blend them together in the center. And then I pulled out some darker ones because I thought that was kind of light, so I thought I'll put that lighter bit toward the top, and I'll pull out some darker inks next time because I'd like there to be I'd like it to be just darker and brighter, but still kind of the muted shades of yellow and orange. So I pulled out ripe persimmon, and I pulled out wild honey. So the wild honey has a really pretty golden yellow texture or color, and the ripe persimmon has like an orangey red color. And again, I'm going to use one of my little blender foams just to dab on there, and it helps smooth out the ink if something isn't perfectly covered, but it also helps to smooth the line where those two meet. So I've got those two circle stamped on there now, and I can go ahead and stamp some of my images. And I am leaving the lighter of the two circles toward the top. Now you could do both of those circles the same. I just changed mine because after I stamped it, I realized that it was a little bit lighter than I wanted. So rather than start over, you know, I'm going to I'm just going to go with it. So I pulled out some of the images. For the top part, you can see I've got the little beach chair with the umbrella, and I want to stamp that so that's on that colorful circle I just created. And then I've got the good vibes, and the good vibes is being stamped on the top piece that I die cut. So I have the die cut piece in place so that I get the images where I want them, and I can stamp the sentiment on that die cut piece at the same time I stamp the chair and the umbrella on the background piece. So I'm going to do the same thing with the palm trees, and you can see that I'm like putting the palm trees are large compared to the other images, so I'm kind of hanging it off the side of my paper. So at least I wanted the big palm leaves on that bottom piece, and you'll see that in just a minute when I finally put it in the camera shot. I apologize for that. There's always a learning curve when you move your space or adjust something. So there it is, and you can see the nice big piece there. So I've got this really pretty yellow cardstock from Maker Forte that I love the color of this. I cut that at 3 3/4 by 8 1/4. So I'm going to have a nice bright yellow panel around the outside edge. So I am using liquid glue to put the stamped panel down, and you can see here I'm using my Tombow sanded eraser, the mono sanded eraser, to just remove some ink smudges on the top piece. And I'm going to put a lot of foam on this bottom piece, or this die cut piece, because this is going to be the top part of the card, and I think that I really just wanted some dimension here, so I'm just really covering this with foam. And while I'm doing that, I will put the links to all these products below, along with some of the tools I'm using. Like, you see me using a lot of Maker Forte and Tim Holtz tools here. I love these Maker Forte tools. And I keep saying I have to make a video on my favorite Maker Forte tools, because since I've discovered this little company, I am just thrilled with the tools that they are creating, and the stamps and stencils. Like, the products they have are just fantastic. So the stencils are amazing. They make their own stencils. So I did line this top piece, the die cut cardstock, up with the stamped cardstock. There you go. And I'll put that on a card base with liquid glue. And I'm going to glue that directly on the card base. I did feel like that upper circle needed something more, so I pulled out one of the other images. This is the birds, and just added it to it, and I felt like that was just what it needed. So my card base, by the way, is cut at 8 by 8.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. I did have two tiny little spots that I felt like missed the ink, so I pulled out my black Copic marker, the special black one that's number 110, and just, filled it in. It blends beautifully with that Maker Forte Eclipse black ink. Like, it blends beautifully with that ink. So I just glued that to my card base, and I pulled out some, I believe these are bittersweet crown jewel gems from Maker Forte, and I just put 3 of them down. And I'm using my on the hook tool, which I love. Love, love, love this hooked tweezer for picking up these tiny little gems. And then I've got the Maker Forte. I call it the magic wand. It's got a jewel picker on one end and a craft pick on the other end, and I love this tool. Like, I love having the craft pick on the other end. I find that really useful. Like, 2 tools in one there, and I love the pretty metal that they use for that. So I would love it if you give this video a thumbs up, and I would really appreciate if you subscribe to my channel while you're here, and click the bell to get notifications for when I upload new videos. Thank you so much for watching, friends. Have a wonderful day.